Hey.
The kid's too smart to ever learn, too on fire to feel the burn of desires all around him. It's not enough, it's not enough to fool yourself anymore. It's not enough, it's not enough to fool yourself anymore. It's not enough, it's not enough to fool yourself anymore.
How's it going, everybody? It's Sandwich Pants here today, and I wanted to go over some stuff and then start gaming. And by some stuff, I mean just a couple of things here and there. For one, we've got some good news. All right. So right here is going to be some good news. We've actually got one major thing that's happened recently, not in the U.S., but one major thing that's happened recently that I would point to and say this is a really, really good start in other countries, specifically in India, for worker organization and labor, I guess labor militancy could be a term applied there, that would allow for more pushes in the future. And in other areas, it's a good, what's the foundation to work off of. India, a while back, Modi had passed some laws involving farming that were very controversial and very unpopular. And so, to combat this, a massive general strike went on for, I think, 5 months. And Modi, the government, caved to the strikers. And they've actually managed to get a majority of what they wanted. So, those farming laws that were put into place by Modi, repealed, overturned, completely gone. And I think they want some additional stuff. I have to look more into it in the future. I'm going to make another segment a little bit more in depth on this. This is just to list off a few points of good that have come out of the past little bit. Biden's executive order to increase the federal contractors' minimum wage to $15 an hour starts, I think, in the beginning of January of next year, so that's coming up pretty quick. It's a small start, but it is something positive to look at. If you are a federal contractor, you're going to get more money than what you were getting before as a starting salary, which I can say that I enjoy. What else was it? The John Deere workers got a good, I think, 82% of what they were asking for. They didn't get quite the pay raise that they were looking for, but they got concessions in other areas, and so they came to an agreement and closed out the strike and renegotiated the union contract. So, or John Deere is another thing that we have to look at and go, okay, so this worked here, and the general strike worked over in India. We have some more foundations to work off of rather than just what we had been working off of, which is mostly theory and the kind of efforts that were done back in the 30s. So I thought that was really nice. Short little thing here. It's not that much to go over, but it's a couple of things that I thought were really positive things that happened in the world as far as worker stuff goes, has gone in the past month. On top of that, I mean, we've gotten in this year we got the exoneration of Kenneth Walker. He was found innocent, acting in self-defense for shooting at police who broke into his house. That's goddamn right. That's good. We had the Derek Chauvin trial. That's something that happened this year as far as non-class-based issues that came out good for us in a more positive light on our side. But then alternatively, we had the Rittenhouse self-defense exoneration. So not everything has come out in our favor, but I'd say we have a few things that step forward, that stepped our agendas forward, our wants and desires as leftists. We have made very small gains, but they are gains nonetheless. So keep that in mind, everybody. We've got a lot of work to do. Thank you. Segment 1, done. Segment 2 is about to start. So, god damn it. Before I actually start it, let me just fuck around a little bit, y'all. I just wanna bullshit for a second before I actually get into this. SUV plus through Wisconsin stuff. Okay, that's not good. Kind of checking some stuff out real quick. Oh yeah, Alex Jones. That's another one. I totally forgot to mention that. Alex Jones got fucked in his lawsuits. That's a positive for us. Eris, you went over it. Yours is 2 hours though, and the one that I'm gonna go over is, oh my god, 3 hours, but there's 2 debates in it. I am gonna go over the Doe versus Riley Grace Rochon debate. That's the primary title of this video, but I'm also going to sneak in the Vosh debate versus RGR because I want to. So let's go ahead and do an edit. Let's go down to the description. Boom, boom. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Start. 0, 0, 0, 0, 1. Fine here, and we'll go with and then we'll continue on from there. We'll just add chapters in later. So I've got about 30 seconds before I actually need to start this. So let's go ahead and give a little bit of a lead in. I'm going to lay out a couple of biases that I have. One, RGR. I dislike Destiny at this point, and RGR is huge into the Destiny community. Not a big fan. Never really liked RGR. Just used her Discord for research documents, some of which I found to be trash. That's number one. Bias number 2 is when it comes to Doe. I don't have a problem with Doe at all. The only thing I have is I'm still working on getting used to its pronouns, because that, to me, it was used to dehumanize me when I was younger, and so I'm a little uncomfortable with them as using them, but I'm fine with trying to change my mindset on it. I know that that's an internal bias that I have, but that's about it. All right, so what we're going to go ahead and do is get started here. Let's just, I guess, edit this to 9 minutes and 45 seconds. Let's go ahead and get this started. We're just going to get right into it. Let's hit that live button. Oh, look at that. You can see everything. And we will begin. Let's get it going. Oh, and we're doing this from Vosh's thing because his debate is in here as well. So I don't know, let that play out entirely without interrupting because I'm going to do the same thing. Yes, Doe goes through a very, um, a pretty graphic description of a life event that it went through uh, when it was younger. Uh, a little bit more of a full disclosure thing. Doe is a CSA survivor. It was a child sex uh, victim. That's the word I'm looking for. And that is a massive problem, obviously, that we need to be dealing with. And it does describe a very horrible instance in its life later into the debate. Oh, and that's another thing. While I personally have to get over some hangups on using its pronouns, I've been working at it. Believe me. Um, Riley refuses, in most instances, to use the pronouns preferred by Doe, which is transphobic. Oh, a little bit of a backstory here. Back during the Kink It Pride discourse, I'm pretty sure, Doe tweeted something that said along the lines of, if you have a partner who has a foot fetish and you go outside barefoot to a public event, you're not involving anyone in a sexual act. And RGR said that this was an argument that intentionally or negligently enables pedophilia. And that's what this entire debate is about. Okay, I need to go back to the tab. Yes, I have a post-structuralist take on gender, a pretty big Deleuzian reading. I wonder why you might be getting, you say harassed. I'm sure it was some people talking shit once each. For you, you literally referred RGR to Doe as that. Not it, but that. And you constantly use they, them pronouns for Doe instead of it pronouns, which Doe is specifically asked for they, them. As a matter of fact, actually, because I know my Twitter, I'm going to take us to just me for a moment, because my Twitter feed is absolutely okay. It's okay, good. No, it's actually fine. So as we can see here, it's pronouns. Just Deleuzian readings. Okay, I'm gonna have to read that later. Anyways. No, that does not make any fucking sense to me. If you delete a tweet, it's because you fucked up. And you know you fucked up. Because unprivating your account still allows people to go and at you and say shit. Like, I could literally go to somebody's page and at them without needing a tweet to do it over. People could have already screenshotted some of these tweets. Like, what the fuck, Riley? That's so stupid. Why would you say that? It's a place where they can go and harass. They can do it anywhere. They could literally do that anywhere. Oh, another full disclosure thing. I got kicked out of Riley's Discord. Not that I was ever even active in there. For voicing my opinion, which I will voice again at the end of this. I don't want to poison the well, as Riley claims, over something that was definitely not. God damn it. Don't don't sugarcoat it, Vosh. Not a Joker moment. A complete dumb fuck moment. Because that's what it was. Dumb fuckery. I cannot believe I missed. Private it or. Yeah. Gammy. For sure. Yes, she is. No. God damn it. No, see, okay, so Gammy is a an absolute fucking just off the wall, not okay person. I'm trying to be very nice about it. Honestly, I think that Vosh will say it in a little bit, his thoughts on Gammy and pretty much the universal thoughts on Gammy, but um yeah. No. Essentially Gammy is one of the fucking most ignorant people that you could come across. And it's not even close. She's so fucking stupid. Holy shit. I'm on high jump. There you go. Yep. I shouldn't have done that. I actually believe Doe in all of this. I'm pretty sure that she did call it a pedophile. I will. Oh, got a phone call. Hold on, y'all. Hey, give me just a minute, Chris.
No problem.
Uh, Sorry, chat. That was a phone call. Let's go ahead and continue. With everything, as this is going to be a pain in the ass to mark in chapters. Oops. What? Come on.
Pedophilic to not wear shoes outside when your partner has a foot fetish or something like that. It was something like that, like, because now, yeah, like
Yeah.
if you're
I felt
looking
that one
at
coming.
your partner's bare little toesy woesies, that's what foot fetish
I don't
is.
care.
And you're like, wow, oh my god, but you're like, you're outside, so
Really?
it's like,
Stop
that's
spawning me where they can just fucking shoot me, you
that's
dumb fuck game.
abuse of the children. I think that was what it was about. Now, to me, this is almost.
And
a
I didn't
silly
get the fucking
hypothetical,
shotgun,
that
of
even
course.
Saying it the way that I did just kind of implies that I think it's dumb, but I think that's what they were. Yeah, yeah. I guess I could be wrong on the details, but I think it was basically that. They'll get to it, okay? They'll get to it.
So you're saying that this video
I have no
is evidence
memory.
of me calling you a pedophile. That's
No.
what you're saying.
I do think saying that someone is intentionally or unintentionally just.
Can I fucking run, please? What the shit, game?
I think it's okay to do sexual acts to children.
No, 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 no. Don't twist my words.
I don't think I twisted anything.
I don't think that you are being very honest when you say that. All right. So we can listen to the clip right now. I'll listen to it with my chat.
Okay,
All right.
I guess I have to. Hold on, let me come pull it up really quick. I don't have mine open.
All right. Hold on.
Yeah, you effin' with some wet ass
Let me go to my media tab.
There's a second clip. Here's a second clip.
He continues in level of unintelligible nonsense, saying that kink is defined in relation to sexuality, therefore involving children in sexual act. This is intentional or not, the stupidest sleight of hand I've ever seen. What the fuck are you talking about?
That's an insane thing to say to me. I don't know like how that's a defensible statement. Like, if you're defining something in relation to sexuality, and then you are suggesting that children should be involved in that, you're involving children in sexuality. That's the most logically valid.
No. Oh, actually, involving children in sexuality? Yes. But you know what else you're doing to involve them in sexuality? Whenever they're 2 and play with a child across the playground, and you go, oh, who's that little girlfriend you've got over there? In a sense, you're, like, people imply sexuality. Now, that's, I guess, sexual orientation, but still, like, gender roles and shit, you imply a lot of stuff with children. It just depends on what level you're doing it to. You can teach children about sexuality without forcing them into sexuality. It's done a lot. I mean, cartoons can literally teach children about different sexualities. And they have. But are you involving them in a sexual act by going barefoot? No. Like, what the fuck?
String of words that I can think of off the top of my head, right? So like.
Wait, are you done already? I think you.
No, I'm waiting for. I was sorry. I was waiting for you. I was
Oh, I'm sorry. I have a second one that has a little bit more context.
So who was the person speaking there who wasn't RGR in that clip that Doe was looking at? Who was the person who was making the statement that RGR said yes? Lycan?
Layman, who's also a massive fucking idiot.
Lycan. Okay. And to be clear, we're still talking about going barefoot around foot fetishists outside, right? That's still what we're talking about? Okay. All right.
That's a little bit longer than the one that I quote tweeted with, but that's okay.
Okay,
We can both
are
play it at the same time now if you want.
all right. Wait, which one are you playing? Is it the same clip?
Well, here. How about I do this?
What?
I've got this one that's got a little bit fuller context.
All right, when you say fuller
Oh
context,
shit!
I love
I tried to DM it to you so you could see it. It's just the previous part of the video. I clicked the one part because
So
it's the part
I
where you actually
actually
say
have-
pedophile, but the minute leading up to it, I also have a separate video of. But we can just watch the quick one if you really want. The
yeah,
20-second one.
Yeah, well, it's the one that you tweeted at me.
Yeah, the quote tweet. We can watch that one really quick. Ready?
Okay.
All right, 3, 2,
really
1.
weird. Now, a lot of
Hold
people
it.
really weird.
A lot of
parts of the
people
internet are coming out with really weird takes that apparently kink is fine to do in front of children. We should be able to
do in front of children. We should be able to justify doing it in front of them, even if it's explicitly involving them in a sexual act. Like, what the fuck is going on? This is unironic. Oh my god, they're either negligently justifying pedophilia or intentionally justifying pedophilia. I have no idea what the fuck it is. Okay.
Yeah.
You-
And
Okay.
the
So
lead up,
where? So I'm gonna ask you. So where in that clip did I call you a pedophile?
when you say that someone is intentionally or unintentionally, well, there's a couple places.
No, no, hold on.
Let me
Hold
finish
on.
my
That is
sentence.
not.
Can I
that
please
is
finish my
not
sentence? You
calling
asked me
you
a really
pedophile.
direct question and you won't let me finish my sentence.
All right, that is not calling you a pedophile. That's saying that you advocated, that you made an argument that is typical to expect that pedophiles would make. All right?
Okay, so I understand there is a meaningful semantic difference between those two things, but in the context of the online slap fights that we engage in, I think the meaning is not great. The semantic difference is not that significant. There, like, if you're like, well, you called me a pedophile, and then it's like, well, actually, you know, I wish, so this is going to go on for some while, but I wish RGR had owned this, because in the context of, like, arguing online, I don't think, so I think that, okay, I'm going to be charitable to RGR here, and say, which is my responsibility as the very smart, now that a man's in
Yes.
let me take charge of the situation. So I think that's my responsibility. I'm gonna be charitable and say that, and I hope RGR wouldn't disagree with me on this. RGR has giga lawyer brain, colossal lawyer brain. Is this annoying? Everyone thinks so all the time for all lawyers. Yes, that's why people make fun of them. It also helps you win cases, so that can be good. But it should be acknowledged that RGR might pay more deference towards specific semantic differences than Doe or myself might. See, for me, like, when RGR is like, well, Doe said something which abates or enables pedophilia, like, that, like, to me, like, this is, like, okay, so you're calling pedo, you know, but to a person with a fine ear for semantic differences, those are two meaningfully different things. So while I won't say RGR is being duplicitous or like Pepe posting, because I don't think that she is, I do think that it's fair for Doe to proceed undeterred, you know? Like I think for Doe to move forward going like, yeah, okay, you called me that, like, is pretty fair. Because Doe's are
Absolutely. Absolutely fair. It's not pretty fair. It is 100% fair. There is no distinction, or no way that it would be unfair to Riley for it. Like, I'm not gonna lie, this is the, like, 4th time I've listened to this debate. And I agree with Doe, and the more I listen to it, honestly, I get very irritated with Riley. Like, that's why I think that Riley is honestly kind of a scum fuck. I know I said I'd save it for the end of the debate, but no, we're not doing that. Trench barrel quick draw is pretty good. Quick draw thresh. You know, whatever. What else do I need to do? And cannon kills. Throw on the Thorn and see if we can get some Thornfell Winters kills, just like in D1, like a scum.
argument could be like, obviously there is a, yes, undoter, thank you, there's obviously a level of semantic parsing that people will say is like irrelevant. Like, for instance, you know, if you're like, you called me a pedophile, and somebody else says, no, I said, quote, you're all pedophiles, I never use that phrase you claim specifically, I never use the singular, like, nobody, like, that's a meaningless semantic difference, obviously, nobody would give a fuck. In this case, there's more of a semantic difference. It just doesn't feel like it's that relevant to Doe's upsettedness. because Doe was quite upset at being called a pedo, as I think people have a right to be. The only people who don't are all of the people who I errantly called a pedophile while going at my anti-Kinkit Pride Joker rant. You are the only people who have no recourse or reason to complain at all. All the thousands of you. Goodbye.
That is my argument, and I stand by that argument. We can go into the merits of it if you want
Let's
to.
go into the merits, because clearly just talking about this one sentence isn't going to go anywhere. So I think it's prudent of us to talk about your
So,
definition.
Let's start with exactly what you said. All right. So you said, and I quote, "Some people like feet. If you go shoeless to a public event because your partner likes feet, you're not, quote, involving children in a sexual act." That's what you said, right?
That is what I said.
You're talking about a foot fetish.
I am talking about a foot fetish. I'm proud of you.
Okay. So I want you to answer me this question. If you are getting off your partner's foot fetish around children, do you think it's not a little reasonable for someone to say, okay, this seems like something that a pedophile may argue, and this person either knows what they're doing or they are negligent and they're saying it even though they don't understand its implications?
Okay, so the thing that bothers me here, and again, I have seen this already once. I watched this when it happened. The thing that bothers me here is that it feels like RGR is alternating between high levels of specific language and very, like, tremendous degrees of vagueness. Like the term "getting off." Like, what does that mean? Do you mean, because getting off can mean you're literally, like, jerking off. Getting off can also mean, like, you find something attractive and it's, like, hot to you. Because I've heard it used in both of those contexts. Like, I've heard, like asking a person, like, hey, getting off to how fucking high her dress is? Like, holy shit, it's wrapped around the middle of her ass cheeks. Like, I've seen that, I've seen it used in both contexts, so the term here seems a little non-specific, you know?
So, nowhere in this tweet has anyone talked about getting off.
Wait, hold on. What do you think happens when you appeal to someone's sexual kink? Or sorry, we're talking about fetish. We're talking about
sexual desires is what we're talking
about. Yeah, we're talking about getting off someone else's
No,
fetish.
you keep saying getting off. Why do you keep saying that?
Because that's the only implication. All right, so I guess...
Can I give you an implication? You're allowed to ask questions if you're confused.
I mean, I'm very much not confused, I can guarantee you that, but let me ask you a question.
Well,
so
you haven't represented me correctly yet, so I think you might be just a little bit confused.
I'm going to doubt that, but let me ask you a question. So what is your definition of a sexual act?
Sex acts is, like, super complex. I think the biggest issue that I actually have, and I mean not biggest, but the first issue I have is probably your definition of sex act. If I remember correctly, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I'll give you a chance to in just a second. That a sex act is any action that occurs with sexual intent, sexual desire, right? Is that about right?
Roughly. It's when you do something intentionally and primarily appealing to yours or someone else's sexual desires.
Yeah, okay. So I think I got it about right.
The thing that gets me here, or I guess, like, the thing that I don't understand, at least, is, like, I feel like RGR's definition for sex act includes kissing.
It does. And dressing.
Like, maybe on reevaluation this won't turn out to be the case, but I think it does, because I remember thinking while watching this, like, listening to RGR's arguments, thinking, if this was the case, kissing in a park near children would be pedophilia. Yes, that is her argument. If she believes that, I guess that's consistent, but that seems very wild to me. You know? I don't know.
So, I think that this is so broad as to be useless, and I don't think that any legal system defines it this way. For example,
I would disagree.
Can I finish my sentence, please?
Yeah, go ahead, but I'm just saying, like, I disagree with that.
I just don't know why you have to interrupt me when I'm in the middle of talking.
Well, I'm just saying that I disagree with that.
Okay, well, in my state, I looked up the sex acts law, and so I live in North Carolina, and criminal law designates differences between sex acts, sexual contact, sexual activity, and sexual penetration. they define sex acts as the sexual contact of one or more sex organs, including but not limited to cunnilingus, fellatio, analingus, or anal intercourse, or the penetration of any object into the genital or anal opening of another person's body. Sexual contact is a focus on touching a person's, quote, intimate parts. Sexual penetration is, we can understand that. And sexual activity,
First I'm hearing of any of
listed
this.
there was masturbation.
Okay,
So we have a lot of different, it's a very varied, the legal system is a very varied way of approaching these kinds of discussions.
So I actually, there's some interesting context because I've actually taken, so as you know, I'm a law student. I've actually taken criminal law. Are you familiar with the history of how we've gotten to like our modern common law rape standard?
Completely irrelevant.
I don't know the history as well as you do, being a law student, but I was actually in the middle of talking. I don't know, again, why you interrupted me. I was actually, you asked me a really direct question, and I was actually walking my way through it. I don't know why you keep doing this.
I mean, like, if you keep talking and you just keep going on and you...
I just listed a legal system sex acts and the way that it differentiates between it, because one of my points here is that this is a very nuanced conversation, and I think you lose some of the nuance that I think is really important to this conversation.
You're right. So we can go through that and we can talk about why those definitions are in fact problematic, because the history...
No, and yes, RGR does interrupt Doe every like 20 seconds if she doesn't hear the answer she wants, and it's a load of bullshit. And you'll notice something here in a little bit that actually kind of points to a level of hypocrisy. Pull out a fucking primary, you stupid loser. Jesus. And also, like, I had to laugh whenever it happened, because I was like, are you fucking kidding me, Riley? Like, there's so many weaselly things that Riley does here. It's absolutely hilarious.
Of the evolution of the legal standard for what constitutes a sex act has actually been to broaden it more over time. Historically, rape was only the penetration of a vagina by a penis by a man of a woman, and using excessive force. But the reason why that's not the standard anymore, is because we realize that actually sex acts are a lot more than just physical penetration.
Oh my god.
That's true.
Yeah, that is true. So I would not say that the law is a good heuristic to be able to rely on in this conversation.
That is a
It's irrelevant.
bad argument from...
Oh my god. Why the fuck? Stop that.
RGR, in my opinion. Again, I'm not a lawyer, but like that... Okay, so a couple of things. First of all, Doe laid out a couple of categories of legal stuff pertaining to sex, not just like penetrative sex acts. And additionally, like, this would be called conspiratorial in other contexts, don't you think? Like, oh, well, in the past the law was bad, we've changed it since, so we shouldn't use the law. Like, I don't think Doe's argument here was the law is the only word.
I should have popped my super there. And no.
I think Doe's argument was that, like, look, if we even look at the legal precedent, which we can't expect to be super radical and progressive because it's in law, like it was written into law, but like fucking old people, we see that there's a great deal of ambiguity, distinction, and variety when it comes to different types of sex acts. Because I think Doe's concern is that RGR is flattening down everything you can do with a person into sex act. You know, because you know, it's like, oh, you want to go barefoot next to a person with a foot fetish around children, so you want to do a sex act around children. Well, like, if you flatten literally everything down into sex act, then like I've made out.
Oh my god.
Like, I've kissed people in parks. You know, I mean.
Yeah, RGR's argument is absolutely fucking stupid, and I'm letting Vosh go through his examples because they're pretty much the ones that I was thinking of at the same time, watching this. So, you know, it's just funny to me how RGR has to act to try and shit talk people, or not shit talk people, but to misrepresent people. She has to act in such a bad faith manner to try and debate this subject in particular. And it's definitely an emotional hang-up. Like, it's all it could be.
That's absolutely. I mean, listen, I don't know if it's only me, guys, but when I'm making out with a cute lady, I get a bit of a chub from it sometimes. I mean, it's nice, you know. Like, I don't go walking around in sweatpants, the fat fucking boner, but you know, it's absolutely, at least, you know, sexually, you know, adjacent. Heterosexual kissing is pedophilia. Yeah, it's the first step to breeding. I have kissed people like yelling everything. And think you who are significantly
basic forms of penetration.
I agree. I actually listed things that weren't penetration. I listed multiple things that weren't penetration.
And I would say that we still need a broader understanding of sex acts because you end up excluding a lot of very harmful situations that run into the problem of violating one's consent.
That is where I was going to move the conversation as a question of consent. And because you seem to, again, correct me if I'm wrong, have a view that
All right, fucking scam call. Sweet.
we consent to seeing things in public. That's like a thing that happens.
No, wait, hold on. My exact view in respect to consent, especially as it concerns sex, is that if someone is going to involve you in a sex act or do something around you as a sex act, then you need to acquire their consent to do that. If you do not, then you violate their consent, you categorically cause them harm. Children cannot
Wait,
consent.
how do you cause them harm?
Because you're violating a fundamental deontological rule.
Okay, a couple of things right here. First of all, hearing anyone cite Kant in any context
I hate
immediately sends off.
Kant.
I'll save my biases against moral realists for later. So the direction we're headed in right now is one, I think, where Doe is wary because RGR's definition of sex act is essentially all-encompassing. So Doe is acting, how does it harm? Because Doe is trying to hear this out from RGR's definition, which would include things like making out in public. You know, like how does it harm people if you see people making out, or if you see a person with a foot fetish next to a person with bare feet? Yeah, I don't even know how you'd know that, really. Like, but here.
That doesn't mean anything. Can you explain that?
Yeah, there are certain things which, if you do, they are inherently morally wrong. Murder is an example. If you do it, is inherently morally wrong.
Why?
Violating someone's consent is inherently morally wrong. The reason why goes back to the Kantian categorical imperative. If we were to do certain things in society, then that would mean that we end up leading to a contradiction, whereas we end up not being able to have the thing that we wanted to begin with. If you go around violating other people's consent, then we end up justifying a world where anyone can violate anyone's consent. We no longer have consent.
No.
I recognize I'm not that philosophically educated, but this seems insane to me. You realize we violate people's consent by taxing them, right? Like, that doesn't mean we can't have consent in other ways. This seems like a misreading of the categorical imperative. I don't think the categorical
imperative is a misreading of the categorical imperative.
Do anything, then all other things of that thing can happen. Like that, yeah. Like, depending on how broad your categories are, you could reduce that down to like enabling anything from anything, because everything is connected to everything else in some arbitrary, guys, please correct me if I'm wrong. Would RGR's logic here not indicate that taxing people means you can rape them?
Yes.
This is like an ANCAP argument. Like, well, if you violate people's consent by taxing them, then what's to happen to stop them from them not doing the not rape? Like, I don't see it. Maybe there's some like super crazy Kantian shit here that I'm just too dumb to get, but I just don't see it.
And I really care about consent. So I say we do everything we can to respect consent, especially concerning sex.
I think we should absolutely respect consent too. I think it's really important. I just
I'm only focused on hand cannon kills, by the way.
The public, there is a very good argument for seeing something, being involved in it. Now we're not even in the.
No, hold on. No, it's not the seeing the thing. All right, that's not the issue. The issue is not seeing the. Well, I mean, like it's sort of seeing the thing.
It is. You say that it's about seeing that you haven't gotten the consent of others to see it, to be around you while you do it.
Bosh. So leather in public is fine? Yeah. Well, yeah. If you're in okay, by leather, do you mean like you're wearing like assless chaps made of leather with like a cock strap and like 16 chains that like pull your nipples out and like, I mean, I'm not like anti-leather. I mean, I'm anti-wearing leather because not for vegan reasons, because it's uncomfortable. But like my issues with that would have more to do with like adhering to broader social etiquette than anything, you know? Like, I don't think people should walk around naked or whatever.
That's the ability.
Maybe if we were all like, maybe in like a billion years, we'll all be like floating space people, and we'll all be naked because our brains will project like, I don't know, but in the context of the society in which we live right now, like, I think people should wear clothes. I don't want people's poopy buttholes on bus seats. I'm fine with that. But I'm not opposed to people wearing leather in public. Even if people find that leather sexually attractive. Like, don't we see people with sexually arousing outfits in public literally all the time? Like, have you ever been to like downtown or like the area of town that has lots of nightclubs? Like for 5 seconds? You know, like it doesn't take very long for you to look around.
Let me take the fuck off. I was
see
going.
People dressing sexy. I think that's fine. I don't think that's harming children, you know? And I don't think that's involving other people in a sex act, you know? But I guess we'll get to that more in the future because I know where this conversation goes.
Wait, hold on. No,
I thought that's what you just said. I'm sorry if it's not. I was just
we're focusing on consent, and the consent is either about the risk. It's either about being involved in the sex act or the risk of being involved.
Okay. So, what does being involved mean? Because it seems
like the sexual act. There's a lot of different sex acts, I would say. For example, we can imagine situations where people, like in the BDSM community, are engaging in a sexual act where both
you
are
fucking
off, despite the fact that they may not be touching each other at all. Like, we can easily imagine this kind of conversation. Or we can imagine, like, if someone is watching porn, we can imagine that, like, oh, well, in that case, they're not touching another person. They're probably engaging in some kind of sex act. Or, like, phone sex, which has sex in the name. You're not talking to another person. We would call that a sex act.
Okay, so I want to say that Riley is completely correct here. Sex acts do not have to involve direct contact, obviously, okay? However, the line here gets blurred a little bit because I'm willing to bet that most of the people in chat right now have probably sexted somewhere in public. As in, you take your phone out and you respond with a flirty text or receive one, and you are in public as you do this, you know? Now, that would be, by Riley's definition, engaging in a sex act in public, you know? I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with that, you know? Again, like, I guess if I had issues with that, if you, like, pop a boner, and then you, like, get up from the chair at the cafeteria, and you, like, slip and hit somebody in the face with the boner, and the impact makes you come, and you, like, come, and you're, like, writhing on the ground. And that, if that is to happen, I think the sexting is the least bad part of that, honestly. I think the sexting is almost trivial compared to the other things that happen. It happens to the best of us. When that happens. Be careful out there, folks.
Or you are talking to another person, but it's digital, right? Like, the whole point is that I want to make sure that we have a comprehensive definition of sex, because I think that any of these instances you would agree with me constitute sex, and if not, we end up getting into incredibly dangerous situations.
Any of the things that you just listed constitute sex?
I would say that they are sex acts, specifically. Like, for example, let's say...
So, again, I'm just inferring here, because I find it interesting to try, but I think
What?
that was caught right now, because what Doe wanted to say and convey very quickly was, I acknowledge that they're sex acts, but I don't think all sex acts are equally harmful when exposed to other people. So I'm acknowledging that they're sex acts, but I don't want to imply through saying so that all of them are like the same as like jerking off in a train station. I'm guessing like Doe's silence was because that's what it was thinking, because that's what I would be thinking if I was where it was.
Here, we'll go through some hypotheticals. Let's say that you are interacting. Let's say that you have like a crush on some, or you know someone else who has like a crush on a coworker wherever
Crush.
it is that you work.
This hypothetical got out really quick. So I know somebody who has a crush on a coworker.
Okay.
Okay.
And let's say that in that instance, the person who has the crush takes a picture of the coworker without.
I'm sorry. Did you know directors sneak dirty jokes?
Yeah, no, that's... This hypothetical she's about to lay out is absolutely fucking ridiculous. I really don't understand what Riley's trying to do here. I do understand what she's trying to do. She's trying to rationalize in some way her position because Riley believes that she's the only rational one for some reason, and that everybody who disagrees with her on this subject is completely irrational, even though her argument comes from an emotional core.
Into kids' movies. Oh, that's an interesting point, isn't it? There are directors, even like in animated features, where they'll put like sexual innuendo in children's, like, is that like pedophilia? Like, yeah, like SpongeBob is full of sexual innuendo. I just, because in that case, that's actually much more direct, because in that case, you're literally seeding animation designed for children with explicitly, well, I guess implicitly, sexual content. And it will reach millions of people. Like that's like, oh my god, those guys are like the ultimate pedophiles. You know, they're like super pedophiles. Yeah, Pixar moms making Mrs. Incredible's ass that dumpy. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm really not trying to ridicule RGR here. I mean, we'll finish the conversation, and I guess I'll give my summary thoughts afterwards. But we've lots to do before then.
Their knowledge and ends up masturbating to it without their consent. Would you agree with me?
Let me.
That
This hypothetical got out really quick. So I know somebody who has a crush on a
Okay, let's
coworker.
start from the beginning. Here.
Okay.
Okay.
And let's say that in that instance, the person who has the crush takes a picture of the coworker without their knowledge and ends up masturbating to it without their consent. Would you agree with me that this is something which is morally wrong?
Why am I up against Nodak?
The taking depends on the kind of picture and the
Just like- just
expectation
them.
of what?
Let's just say that it's just them in their work uniform.
I don't
You
know if that's
fucking
consent.
puss!
Without somebody's consent is like the strange part.
Okay, hold on. Now, all right, wait. That's
So I think I agree with Doe here. There are people in my
Yeah,
chat
we're not.
before who have said that it's a violation of a person's consent to masturbate while thinking.
We're not
about it.
doing that
I will
game.
not get behind
Hell
that.
no.
That sounds fucking insane to me. Are you kidding me? Holy shit. Taking a photo of a person with the intention of jerking off to them is pretty weird. But like, if there's like a company work photo with you and all your coworkers, and you're like, oh my god, the way that cardigan hugs her quadruple W breasts because they're 3 wins with how fucking huge they are. Like, I mean,
did not acquire the consent, be able to masturbate to that person, that they go and they tell that.
Now, okay. Why the fuck would it matter if you have a picture of a person, like you go on Facebook, you find somebody you find hot, and you jerk off to them? What is the harm done to that person that you used their image without their knowledge? Their image. Or, later hypothetical, is even thinking about somebody. What is the actual fucking harm done in this by thinking about another person or using a picture they posted or whatever to masturbate? What is the actual harm done? They don't know. You didn't involve them. You involved an image of them. They themselves, the physical being that they are not involved. So why the fuck is Riley trying to make it seem as if just using your imagination to picture a person that you may know in a sexual instant, like a sexual way, is violating their consent? Why the fuck would you make that argument? Their consent isn't relevant there. It's your mind.
That person, that they masturbated to them. Would you reasonably expect that the person who was masturbated to without their knowledge would probably feel violated to some degree?
I don't have to consider it. It's happened to me. Yeah, it's a little weird.
Okay, cool. So why is no? It's not just weird. You would say that that's morally wrong.
We're gonna have a moral problem in this debate. I'm trying not to like make it the point because it doesn't matter. But
No, wait, hold on. It absolutely does. Violating someone's consent is
sorry.
paramount. I want to make sure that we are protecting people.
I don't believe in morals the way that you do, so I'm trying to avoid that kind of conversation because we don't need to have a ethical conversation in this discussion.
That's
I
pretty
don't
smart.
think that I could say
That's
that
a
it's
good idea.
morally wrong to masturbate to somebody, but I think telling them is strange. I don't know if I would say it's morally wrong. It clearly is going to make them uncomfortable.
So, in my opinion here, the weird part is telling them. It's okay to do it. The weird part is telling them. There's
Yep.
nothing wrong. Like, there are tons of things
Why would you tell them?
Totally okay to do, but you shouldn't tell people you did them. Like, if you have a cum sock, that's your God-given right. But you shouldn't then tell a coworker about your cum sock. That, well, I don't know if I'd say it's not your God-given right, but you just probably shouldn't do it. That's not good.
It's not.
Yeah, don't do that. Yeah.
Oh, fire team.
Yeah, if you have the piss jar, like, yeah. So in this case, like, yeah, to me the issue would be the act of informing them. That would be really weird. Not because you masturbated while thinking of them, but because you're informing them of your sexual thoughts towards them, which is generally considered to be inappropriate, even if you haven't done anything. So, like, for example, even if you haven't jerked off to a photo of a person, walking up to them and saying, like, oh my God, you're really hot, I'd love to jerk off to you, like, that's still bad. In fact, it's equally as bad, I think.
Did I get hit with that
The
grenade?
issue here isn't the jerking off in private to the photo of them. It's the telling them. Like, we can isolate instances where telling them is clearly the issue, even if there's nothing wrong elsewise.
But now, wait. So hold on. So if you masturbate to someone else and you don't get their consent, then it's fine as long as they don't find out.
Okay.
I guess this is one of those situations where a person's perspective is so foreign to mine that it almost feels like they're presenting a hypothetical.
God, I can't aim right
take
now.
their own point down, but yeah. I mean, no, I agree, President Sunday. Yeah, I'll talk more at length when this is done.
Yeah, I don't.
Let me fucking get the melee!
Ways that it can be wrong.
What are the ways?
I think that sexual desire towards children.
Hold on, wait, pause. No, we're talking about the nature of what is a sex act. Do not pivot away from this. Why
I
would it
wasn't
be
trying to
wrong?
pivot away. I was trying to tell you an example of.
It's
where I
not
thought it would be
pivoting.
wrong.
Okay, so the example would be wrong if it would
That
be
was a
children?
direct
Yeah, I think that there's something inherently
response.
predatory about.
Right. So what if we're talking about an adult?
Yeah, that's what I was working.
This
through.
guy's so fucking...
I don't think that I can say that it's wrong to think about somebody and masturbate to them.
I think that Doe's poise here has been
Like,
really
that's
good.
bitch made shit. Oh, I'm just gonna run between the spawns and kill people off spawn.
The loftier than thou, like, calm response shit for however long it lasts. Because I know it doesn't last forever, but I think the poise has been pretty good. In my opinion at least. I don't have an issue. There are people in chat who are going like RGR is being
Is it
racist or
literally-
whatever. I feel like the issue's not whatever's the issue with Destiny is that he's been possessed by the ghost of some kind of goblin, and it's leading him to poor decision making. I don't think that's the case with RGR. I think that
Fuck
RGR
you.
is just I'm trying to think. It feels like I wonder if RGR has a blind spot on this particular issue. Maybe I should save these thoughts for the end. I don't know. Hold on.
No, RGR definitely has an emotional spot with these issues.
If you masturbate to someone, if you go and you tell that person you masturbated to them, why do you think that they might be a little put off?
Because you've made them into an object a little bit in your mind. Even if you consider them as a full subject, it's objectification. Is
Hold on,
kind
no,
of what we
the average
call it.
person, no, the average person. Oh, hold on. Yeah, and that's not necessarily the case.
Sure.
Right? That's not necessarily the case. It could
I
be the
agree.
case where no, you actually like totally no, you just like you're really infatuated with them. You see them totally as a person, but you masturbate to them without their consent.
Sure, I think that there's still a level of objectification that can occur there. It doesn't have to, but yeah.
So
But
wait,
it can make you feel.
You think that's the only
feel like
reason
an object when you're told.
If they're told that they were masturbated to without acquiring their consent?
How does he even still see? He's blinded!
Do you think that is the only reason why someone who learns that they were masturbated to without their consent would be off-put at learning that new knowledge?
Do I think that they would be off-put? Is that what you just asked?
I'm asking you, do you think that the reason that you gave is the only reason why?
No, I've already said that. I think that the reasons can be multitudinous. Like
what?
Well,
These guys are
having a
fucking
sexualized object in the mind of
gigantic fucking cowards. Holy shit.
Before like pornography was a thing or whatever. Like back in the year 1400 when there were like French farm hands, like they didn't have porn stars, right? So they would have like imagination. Yeah, but they're probably imagining people they know, right? Like they're imagining the milk maiden with her large boobs. Like,
Thank you,
I don't know,
Devin.
it's
Kill
just-
that fucking loser.
Porn stars through whom the production of their material is a kind of implied acknowledgement that you're going to jerk off to it. And people masturbate before they typically find like sexual partners. At least I certainly did. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm kind of making an appeal to nature right now, which is a bit fallacious. It's just, yeah, I don't know. I don't think jerking off to a person before asking them is bad. Like,
Yeah, they need to fucking nerf that shit.
oh, that's a tactic, you know. You could just normalize asking your coworkers before jerking. I don't think RGR would want that either.
Is it so? I know it did.
To say something else.
I don't know
Wait,
the reasons.
excuse me?
Is it so? I know it. The reasons can be multitudinous. Like it.
Like what?
Well.
And then
the
here's
nature of
Riley being a
sexualized
total
mind
fucking
is it so?
dickhead.
To say something else.
Can I get some registration, please?
Horrible form from RGR. I don't think Doe has done anything to deserve this treatment.
No, absolutely
Back to this
nothing.
Conversation.
I don't know the reasons that everyone might come away with feeling a negative feeling from a particular event. Lots of
Okay,
things
I'm
can
going to
lead
give
up to
you
that.
the answer.
Now,
The answer is violating their consent.
but
that
you
is
did
the
violate
thing
the
we want.
consent.
You did violate their consent. Yes, you did. If
So-
this person is hypothetical, masturbated someone else, and did not acquire their consent to do so, you violated their consent.
I'll say, Vermin, don't worry.
How did you violate their consent?
Because you were able to use an aspect of them to get yourself off sexually without their permission.
You used your mind to get yourself off.
You used that person, the image of that person.
No, you used your mind.
Hold on, wait, all right. I need to ask you another question. No, hold on. So is the problem like if someone does not know that you use them to get off sexually, then it's fine?
Okay, so
Are you fucking kidding me? What is the point of a blinding grenade if it doesn't actually do a goddamn thing?
For you guys, a detailed graphic description of sexual bad. Again, I'm just warning you so you don't bitch at me, okay? I don't know if it's in 2 minutes or 20, but whatever.
Well, it depends on how you use them.
Why does it depend?
Well, because there are some ways where you can physically use somebody, and there are some ways in which it remains entirely in your mind. I don't think desire itself requires somebody else's consent.
Fuck
Why
you
does
guys.
physicality matter? There are easily sex acts that we can imagine, which are not
Literally can't do shit.
Can you name one for me?
Like masturbating to someone.
But you didn't do an action to them.
Yeah, but you're using them. You
You're
are
using your
their
mind. In your mind, you're imagining them. If you have the picture, like I said, the picture seems to be like the weird part of that. But like,
All right, hold on. I'm going to give you another example, and I'm going to ask you to distinguish it. All right, because I want to. I'm trying to get exactly like what your morals are here. If you have someone, let's say that you have a person who goes out into public, all right, and they have a humiliation fetish,
yeah.
okay, and
right.
Now this is a very dumb argument from Riley that's coming up. I will warn you, and it has to do with pooping. For some fucking reason. I don't know. There's a million other ways you could go about this with the humiliation fetish. You could have, you know, person with humiliation fetish go out with their partner, and their partner just walks up to other people and starts like making fun of him to embarrass him, like talking about stuff that he did that's embarrassing, smearing mud on his face or something, you know, doing shit to humiliate him in public. That's a different, like, why does it have to be, I don't know. Riley goes to the weirdest place here.
they go out in front of anyone. It could be children, but just anyone who has not provided consent, and they, I don't know, let's say that they like defecate themselves, all right, and they
I had
end
a
up,
scab fetish too. Jesus.
I don't know why you're trying to get like ad-homs or whatever in.
Wait.
Anyway.
Wait. No. That wasn't it. That wasn't. I said I don't know why they have a scab fetish. That wasn't. I was joking. You gave them one fetish and then you added another. I just was being silly. I'm sorry. I wasn't
Well,
trying to ad-hom you.
We're talking about someone with a humiliation fetish, all right? The point is that they go out into public, all right? And then around other people, they defecate themselves, other people see them, and as a consequence of other people seeing them, they orgasm. Specifically because other people watch them. Would you say that this violates the consent of the other people watching them?
Okay, I just want to interject this wonderful hypothetical with my own opinion, which is that clearly the primary moral offense here is shitting your pants in public.
Yes.
Clearly the main bad thing here. Okay, maybe this is just my degenerate bohemian perspective, but if I was like in a park and like 10 feet away from me or so, okay, so they come from shitting themselves. We're truly in wild territory now, but I guess if I had to break it down into the two separate components and ask myself, would I rather be 10 feet away from a person shitting their pants or 10 feet away from a person like coming in their pants? I guess at this point I'm just going by raw volume, and assuming they've eaten anything in the past 24 hours, I'm going to say I'd rather them not. That's my opinion. Also,
So I'm not going to get any kills unless I'm teamed up.
Have a smell, but if I'm being guided by volume. You know, honest to God, just the pure like the pure horror of seeing a person. Now, I'm assuming, given the hypothetical, that other people around this person notice they're doing these things, because otherwise, like, it's just invisible. Like, what? So we're talking about shitting and coming yourself hard enough that both of them are distinctly visible to the public. Okay, so we're talking like ropes firing. I don't know if they ever. If you have a pussy, I don't know how hard you'd have to come to make that visible while wearing pants, but. Look, however they're doing it, okay? They dump a fat log. I mean, they just distend their pants. They're wearing stretchy fucking latex pants, and that shit just gets packed out, okay? And then they come. Well, she didn't say the orgasm had to be visible. She doesn't care if it's visible. Okay, well, the shitting is... Okay, wait. So the shitting is visible, but the coming doesn't have to be? No, I would absolutely rather be around a person coming in their pants than shitting in their pants if the coming doesn't have to be visible. For all I know, I've been around people coming in their pants, but like, how the fuck would I don't know. Statistically, I don't know. What would I put that at? A coin flip? Maybe. Aren't there people with pussies who come from being on bus rides or something? Like the vibrations or whatever? Like, I don't fucking know. I've taken plenty of public transportation.
How the fuck? Rooted Acorn is sus. They just killed me from across the map with a sniper, or no, a messenger. Never mind, not a sniper, messenger.
Doe is considered.
No, I don't think so.
What? All right, hold on, wait, no. Why? You need to justify that right now.
Because I don't think you consent to things you see in public.
So literally, if you are using the sight of somebody else to be able to sexually satisfy yourself, you're totally fine with that.
I just don't think that you violated their consent. We can maybe talk about other parts of
Why
it.
do you not violate their consent?
Because you don't consent to things you see in public.
Okay, Jimothy not taking...
We're
Okay.
not talking about just seeing something in public. We're talking about using someone else, specifically in this case their sight, in order to get off.
I don't like the use of the term using. It feels deliberately vague. So right now the question is, like, is it wrong if you have a humiliation fetish to nut in your pants because you've been humiliated
What?
in public? And I think in this case, my problem, because there are ways of doing that I would not like. My problem wouldn't be with the acts that are being described here, but rather with associated acts, mostly having to do with the violation of normative behavior or like etiquette, if that makes sense.
Why, game? You gave me the fucking aura thing that lets me know I can do my ballistic slam.
In which all of the elements are perfectly concealed.
Do you see that?
So imagine there's a person who gets off on nutting in public, and they have one of those like vibe bullets. You know what I mean?
Whatever.
All the time they're in the hentai.
Whatever, dude. That's bullshit.
Like, you know what I mean, right? The little vibratey things. Yeah, okay. So like, if a person is clothed and they go to a public park and they have those and they nut because like, oh my god, I'm in a public park. Whoa. Like,
This motherfucker can shoot
I don't think there's
a Wither Horde shot.
anything morally necessarily wrong
and
with that
get
necessarily,
a grenade off in the
but
same moment.
violation of consent any more so than a person who nuts because of the bus vibrating. Like,
Oh my fucking god!
the issue is, I feel like there are a lot of associated cases where it could be bad because you've made others uncomfortable, but that discomfort only exists in instances where they've been involved in some way, like, you know? So that would be, I guess that would be the issue for me. Does that make any sense? Now this is like a really like broad issue. So I feel like if somebody played the examples game with me where they were like, all right, well, here's 7,000 examples. Which of these are okay? My feelings would probably waver between them, even if like philosophically the same. Like it'd be like, oh, well, that seems worse than that. But I recognize this is like a really emotionally charged subject. There are a lot of cultural biases we bring to the table with this kind of thing. I just think that like the like flat out the idea that like you're violating people's consent by engaging in a sex act with a person while in public can't be true. Because if that was the case, kissing in public would be violating their consent. Because keep in mind, Riley's definition of sex act includes everything that elicits sexual arousal. Not just coming, but like even making out. Like I feel like it's possible to make out in public and specifically be like, oh, haha, it's in public, that's hot, without it being violating other people's consent. Does that make sense? That's my feeling, you know? Yeah, flirting too, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you violated their consent. You didn't do anything to them.
Oh my, no, all right, see, I don't know what your ethics are. I absolutely reject this. I 1 bajillion percent reject this.
1
If you
bajillion.
generalize this is an awful precedent to set.
Consent, I don't know why consent just extends to what you see. What is
Because
that?
in this case, you are using somebody else to gratify yourself sexually in that moment. They're aware, all right? They are aware. Everyone is involved in this. There just happens to not be any physical contact.
Sure.
So you are you're fine.
So wait, so RGR said they're aware. I'm confused about this. So Doe in my chat just said Riley isn't talking about them being aware, but here Riley is saying they is aware. So to me, awareness does make a difference, you know? Like there would be a pretty big difference between like a wearing a bullet vibe in public and like falling over and coming and spraying squirt everywhere. I'm sorry, this is a bad this is a bad topic. Yeah. I said the orgasm doesn't have to be visible in her examples. Oh, okay. So like the arousal. Yeah, again, like there's so much variance here. Like for example, I'm pretty sure that like it's not hard
What?
to find examples of people being
I just shotgunned him, come on.
You don't even have to look for boners. Just look at people's faces. Their faces are flushed when they're turned on. If you go to like the area of the town that has the nightclubs and you look at people like making out and they pull away flushed, that's evidence of arousal right there. The act was committed publicly. You're aware of the arousal. They did it in public. So it would be difficult for me to say that that's like a violation of the consent of the people around them. But I guess if they were like fucking, then I mean, well, that the issue then would be. I think it's different. I think boiling everything down. Oh, hey Riley, wait, hold on. Hey Vosh, can I come on to chat? Wait, something else was said. Where was it? I feel like you're not representing my positions right. Well, I can't fairly bring you on when we're in the middle of watching this. But if I brought you on, I would also have to bring Doe on.
Yes. Now, Doe later says that it doesn't care if Vosh brings Riley on. And that's where that's where this happens. We've got a long way to go. I'm gonna try and skip over some Vosh stuff.
Pause. Okay.
Is the vision of other people use it? Because you keep saying like using the people.
The person that we're talking about literally uses other people for sex without their consent. You're fine with that.
They use the vision of other people. Use it because you keep saying like using the people. It's a weird.
They are. They have a humiliation fetish. They can only get off from the vision, like from being humiliated in front of other people.
Sure.
So you're fine with that.
I just don't think it's violating other people's consent. I think we could talk about other.
What if,
other
well, hold on.
parts of it.
So what if those other people are children? Are you still
Now, see, personally, I agree that it doesn't violate others' consent, and as long as you are not intentionally involving children in the act, or not going out of your way to look for them, then, you know, like in this particular example of humiliation fetish, and you shit yourself and the kids humiliate you or whatever, yeah, I literally don't see. I mean, it's weird that you did it because of kids, but it's not like you went out of your way to find children to humiliate you so that you could get off. That's not the same fucking thing. There's some weirdness to it. It's not great that the kids were involved. And as long as you're not sitting there going like, I'm coming! And you're just quiet about it, like you shit yourself and you look embarrassed and you kind of, you know, nut or whatever. Especially if you try and hide the fact that you just nutted, like your reaction to that says more about you than anything than anything else could in that situation. Not the fact that the children were there; they just coincidentally were there.
still fine with it?
If you do it intentionally around children, I think that the intentionality there is pretty weird, pretty.
Yep.
fucked up.
All right, why? You need to justify. No, don't just say, "Oh, it's pretty weird, it's pretty fucked up." Tell me why it's bad.
Yeah, you asked me, I will. I think that it's fucked up because you're that
Brent.
desiring children sexually, I think, is inherently predatory.
With some wet ass pee.
So what Doe is saying here, I think, makes perfect sense to me. Like, I have made out in public. If I make out and I'm next to a kid, I don't think that's sussy. However, if you're like, okay, let's make out. All right, let's go find the largest group of children we can find. That would be a bit sussy. But the making out there wouldn't be the sussy part. The making out there would be the intentionality of adding children to the retinue of people who are, bearing witness to your making out, right? Like, does that make sense? The sussy thing there isn't the like, because if you're just around, like if you just make out and there are kids nearby, like, it's utilitarian. Do you care about intentionality? Well, yeah, because in this case, we would be talking about like the social norms that would come about from the kinds of behaviors you specifically seek. The intentions here are baked into the
Get him, Delude.
sort of norms that are being standardized, in my opinion. Oh, wait, hold on. Doe says, oh, I won't come on, just to be clear. After the words she said to me, I will never speak to her again. I don't care if you pull around without me, Vosh. You don't have to feel like you're playing favorites, but this video clearly shows why I won't speak to her again. All right, well, if Doe has permission. Okay, we'll finish this, and then RGR, free to come on. Permission's given.
God damn it, I couldn't hit.
True, President Sunday.
Thank you, Joni.
Wait, Vosh, don't
Johnny, Joni, I don't know.
In front of a kid. I feel like it's kind of a weird thing to do. So saying like make out in front of a kid makes it sound like you find a kid and like go to make out in front of them. But if you're just at if you're at an airport, like have you ever seen like reunited couples at airports? Like they haven't seen each other in 6 months, then they like jump, like the girl will like jump and the guy.
You're such a fucking loser, Acorn. Wow, you're glitchy.
Like, I mean, there are definitely kids around there. There are always kids in airports, but like I've never seen anyone go like, hey, there are children here. Well, I guess some people do that, but it's usually like 65-year-old like Karen types, like the. I mean, I don't know. It's not something that I like. I guess I'm concerned with as a concept. All right.
But why is that not fun? Oh, wait. What if they're not like trying to do it around children? What if it just happens to be a child?
Yeah, if there's not intentionality, I would probably say that they like. I don't think that they should if they notice the kids are around, but like if the intentionality is not there, I wouldn't say that it's like immoral or predatory.
Okay, if you're not like
So we need to go through this. So we're saying you are just committing to this position that if you have someone with a humiliation fetish, they go out in public, they defecate themselves in front of children. It's not like they were trying to like
What?
They just happened to be there. The children just happened to be there. It could have been anything, but the children just happened to be there. And then as a consequence of the children seeing that person defecate. And but for that sight, then that person orgasms, and you're fine with that.
Can you see like the last sentence, the last little bit?
Yeah. So person, humiliation fetish, goes out in public.
Again, like my issue here is just I think shitting in public is bad. I feel like this example might be tainted by the. Like this could just be my biases, but I feel like if the humiliation fetish was like.
Did you not already fire 4 shots? Are you on 6 shooter, Acorn?
And then like the meek twink BF, and the BF is like, oh my god, I just
Let me move, game!
keys in the grass.
Come the fuck on!
And like, I guess there's like a kid like on a bench nearby, and the mommy dummy is like, oh my god, you stupid fucking retard. And then the guy comes, like, even if the kids heard the stupid fucking retard part, like, I guess I think my issue here just might be with the pants shitting. I think that might be my
The number one hang up is the pants shitting.
You know? I'm sorry. It's a silly convo. I think we're still like T minus like 2 minutes from it getting very not silly. So just keep that in mind, guys.
The only people around are children.
Wow, let me fucking
They're
move,
necessarily
game.
Fine children.
Wait, the only people around are children?
Yeah, the only people. Or we can say there's like, I don't know, there can be like a combination. It's like mostly children.
The ratio
Like I said, I think if there
children,
are children around, you should probably be careful about something like that, where you are actively
why-
getting off. But
Why? No. So I'm gonna finish. All right. So then I'm gonna finish the hypothetical, and we're gonna explore. All right. Then actually, you know what? Now we will just say that. Let's just say it just happens to be that there's only children around. Maybe they go to a playground. It just happens to be the nearest place by them. All right. They live right next to a playground. It's not like they actually like really, want to get off in front. It's just like the kid just happened to be there, and they're the only people there. So if this person goes out and they're wearing their diaper or whatever, and they defecate themselves, and the only people around are children, and as a consequence of the children seeing them defecate, then they orgasm.
No!
You are fine with that.
This guy is
you already
sus!
said that if there's children around, that you probably shouldn't do it.
No, the reason that you said it was bad if children are around is because you specifically are interested in using the children. This is not the case here.
I've
The
said
children
multiple
happen to be
things.
there.
That's not the only thing that I've said.
Then what are the other reasons why it's bad to do it around children?
I think that getting off from the gaze of children is what would be the harm there. That their gaze is the problem, because the humiliation is that children are seeing you.
Wait, hold on. Wait, what harm are you talking about? What exactly is...
That
what
makes
is-
sense.
What harm are you talking about?
I'm talking about violating someone's categorical right to consent.
That's not...
Okay.
You can't consent in public anyways, dummy!
Like, again, I have a general disdain for moral realism here.
Where's my melee?
I don't-
Please, game.
I don't know if it's fair for RGR to not invoke harm, like why harm? Well, the harm is against the categorical imperative. Like, okay, I mean, I guess, but that isn't the same. I don't know anything about Kant. All of you are virgins and nerds. Seriously, philosophy, fucking.
Can you explain to me in what way you have a consent? You have the ability to consent to things you see in public?
You keep
Because
saying... No,
I-
hold on. Stop. You keep trying to bring it back to seeing.
Well,
I've
because
never
it is
argued
seeing.
that. No, this is using someone else. The seeing just happens to be the way that they're using
There
it.
are
Well, okay, wait. So RGR is doubling down on her use of the term using, which I think is less accurate and less descriptive than seeing, because using can mean a bunch of things, but seeing is specifically the relation that we're referring to. But RGR is insisting on using this loaded terminology. This comes off as borderline bad faith to me.
Because it is bad faith.
Like, if RGR just...
No, I'm just using Vosh's video here because he also debates Riley Grace Rochon, and I'm going over both of them. So it's a 2v1, Camel. What is this debate? This debate is an absolute shit show, but as it stands, I think my cousin's here, so we're gonna have to put a pause on this. Hey, buddy, are you here? Oh, okay, hold on, let me mute stream, and... God damn it, I literally just... Alright, y'all. Do we continue? I've actually got company over. You know what? I think I'll finish... Wait, how much is left in this section? God damn it, we're halfway through. Shut the fuck up, Bosch. Okay. You know what? I think we will actually continue this later on. Mostly because I've got company over. So, tune back in later on or tomorrow or something. I don't know. We'll figure that one out. But, yeah, I'll see y'all here after a little while. I've got some stuff to take care of, and wasn't entirely sure when company was showing up, so kicked on stream. I didn't even get to the reason. You know what? Actually, we'll end on this. We'll show you the reason that Riley is a reprehensible scumfuck.
Well, you didn't listen to anything I said, but I just
Oh,
explained
sorry,
why.
you muted me. I only thought it fair.
Because you were not actually engaging with what I was saying. All right, I'm trying to get it
Here,
on.
let's...
I just explained that to my chat, and I tried to explain it.
That's not
Unfair
Destiny.
that you keep muting me. Maybe unfair sounds a little whiny, but like
Cringe
I
is
feel
the
like
term
I've treated
we
you
would
with pretty good
use.
faith here. I've answered every question.
Doe of enabling.
Okay, hold on, where is it?
Situation, the thing they were primarily focusing on was the buying.
Okay.
To buy me.
And all right, and say that the
Here we
reason
go.
why that does not apply is because that person, we can reasonably surmise, was not primarily engaging in a sexual act at that time.
This is, I skipped over the traumatic description that Doe went ahead and gave of, some of her childhood, but this is, her talking about when there was, asking Riley if the person who was looking at her and a few other underage girls to buy to use them was engaging in a primarily sexual act, and this is Riley's reply.
Were looking at me to buy me.
And all right, and I know that you are trying to just be as overly inflammatory as
This is
possible.
not
And
inflammatory.
I would say that in that situation, the thing they were primarily focusing on was the buying. That's what my
Primarily focused on the buying? Buying to do what, Riley? What was the purchase for?
Definitely wasn't to have them come home and cook them a nice meal.
It was for the sexual act they were going to engage in. You stupid fuck. Oh my god. That's really all you need to hear from that entire debate. The lead in to the description of what was going on, and then Riley's answer to that. Because that's so fucking it's disgusting. And we'll get into the Vosh debate later with Riley when I get back. So, yeah. Don't harass Riley, or at least